Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to solve a pretty cool retrograde problem. So if you don't know what retrograde problems are in chess, they pretty much are a puzzle where you have to work backwards to find the solution. So in this example, you need to take 4 moves to reach this exact position. So let's do that. So I want to talk through how I solve this, and maybe there are other methods and ways to getting there, but I just gave it a shot and I solved it. So it's not that bad, but it is pretty cool. So the first thing you might notice is that both knights are gone, right? And the pawn is also on d5. So after kind of toying around with it, you might try, kind of like I did, try to move your knight here, maybe your pawn, kind of get something like this happening. This is where I was thinking. And I was trying to kind of make it so that I can move the queen in and back, but then I realized it doesn't really work like this, right? It doesn't really work that way because it's too many moves. So I thought to myself, okay, well, let's work backwards. So this is what I did. I first realized, kind of the key insight I think that helped me figure this out, was depending on the number of moves, you can know whether the knight's going to land on a light square or a dark square. So if you didn't know that, it's kind of a cool thing to know. Every time the knight moves, it switches color. So the first move I know will be light. The second move, let's just say I'm here for example, the second move I know will be dark. And that pattern continues. So I thought, okay, that's something. So I kind of started there and said, let's just take all the possibilities that my knight can go in 4 moves. So you start here, that's the first one. And then like I just did, I drew little arrows from here. You can go there, you can go there, there, there. Right, just from this one. And then from this square, they can go to G5 and F4. Right? And then I thought, okay, cool. Now, from here, where can the knight go? And then I kind of did the same thing. I ended up making all these, just all these little looking arrows here. All these kind of crazy arrows, like this. Right? You kind of just create this little network. And then you end up realizing that the more you do this, the more it kind of becomes clear what's happening. And that is pretty much all of the squares on the back rank and a lot of these middle squares, they're going to be covered. So let's just take all the color off the board. And you realize that for me to go from light to dark to light to dark, or any other variation, light, dark, dark. So you're going to end up on a dark square. That's the key insight that I'm getting at here. Okay, how is that helpful? And that's kind of where you have to pause and see, does it make sense that that helps me? And then you think, well, this knight is gone. So how does that work? This knight has to be captured by the white knight, right? Because in the position on the screen, the board is completely normal. So it's not like a piece just got captured. Black has to like retreat or something to make that final move. So for a while I was thinking maybe there's a way I can do something like this, where I put the knight, just make a passing move, like this, and then there and back. That was a thought. Then I realized, just through logic, that I would need 1 and then 2, 3 moves. Well, how could I possibly get the knight taken out in 1 move? Well, it goes to one of these 2 places. So I had to think about it. Is there a path that lands me on this square and then lands me on one of these squares? And I thought, okay, well, if I'm here, if I'm on D7, let's use some color. I'm on D7. I need to go from F6. F6, I would need to go from one of these squares. And I can't get to one of those squares off my first move. Right? One of these 2. Right? You see what I'm getting at? So it became clear to me that that path is impossible. So I thought, okay, I have to kind of rethink how I'm thinking about it. And then I thought, ooh, what if I went like a different route and went 1, 2, 3, and of course like it's too many moves, but I thought like this. The rook can capture and come back, push the pawn. And then I realized that didn't work either because like I just showed, that's too many moves. Right, for me to go from a dark square to a light square, I need an odd number of moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't have 5 moves. I have 4 moves. So then I started thinking, well, maybe I need to end up on D8. So maybe something like 1, 2, 3, sorry if I'm miscounting. Something like this. And then I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense, but how do I get rid of this knight? So I kept struggling with the different variations, and I just couldn't crack it for a couple minutes there. And then I thought, I'm so fixated on this knight and this knight canceling each other out somewhere. So I thought, where are their intersection squares? And after kind of mapping out the different paths of the knight, and then going from here to draw lots of colorful boxes, I realized that they have a couple of intersection squares. And here's one. So I think it's like, this way actually, right? Like this, and then let's say you move the pawn. Oops. That happens when you don't click. So you go here, and then I'm saying you move the pawn. Doesn't really matter the order. The point is that this is the intersection square. Something like this was my thought. Have them intersect. And then again, I'm in the position where this is too many moves. Capture and move back. So I thought, that doesn't really work. Okay. So I kept thinking, how do I force it to be what I want it to be? And I kept considering this knight's path. And then I was like, well, I haven't really thought much about this pawn. So that may be one of the key insights. How do I do something with this pawn? Then I thought, this pawn's moving 2. There's no way it's moving 1. Because then you're wasting another move. And you'd have to imagine 1, 2. That gives you only 2 moves with the knight. That doesn't make sense. So it has to go 2. So we knew that was 1 move for sure. Okay. And we know, logically, it's either going to be one of these 2 for the knight. No other thing can move. You could go there and back, but come on, that doesn't make any sense. You're trying to get this knight captured and also capture their knight. So I thought, how do I break free here? How do I figure it out? And then I thought, the key insight, what about this knight? Is there a way I can kind of cycle the knights around? And then I realized pretty quickly that this knight can be captured in 4 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I thought, that's something. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to use that information quite yet, but it's something. And I kind of sat on it longer and thought about it. And I thought, well, even if I capture that knight, how do I get rid of their knight? It's like I need to capture this knight and then replace it. And I was like, okay, well, let's just say I went 1, 1, 2, and I thought, well, what now? 2, and then 3, and I'm like, well, how do I intersect with the knight? And it wasn't clear to me because I can capture this knight next. And then it hit me. And if it hasn't hit you yet, maybe this is your last chance to pause if you really want to think about it. This is what happened. This is how it hit me. I realized that, like I said, I can get to this square to B8 in a couple of moves. And then I realized that this pawn, the reason why this pawn moves is to make way for this knight to cycle in and replace this knight. And then I realized it. I went, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the thought process. So let's see it all in action now. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 4. And that is the solution. That took me quite a bit. I was so focused on this, I ended up mapping out all the different squares. I had colors all over the board. I was thinking about where can it go from here? Where can it go from here? Where can it go from there? And I was drawing arrows, and I was kind of going crazy, thinking, what am I missing? That's kind of the beauty of solving a problem, is you don't know where to go. You just kind of venture out, and eventually you figure it out. So that's it. And I really hope that you took a shot at it, because it's kind of gratifying to solve it. But if not, I hope you enjoyed it. It's pretty sweet. I enjoyed it. Retrograde puzzles have been pretty fun. I might take a look into more of those. But that's it for this video. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing and liking on YouTube. half the income goes directly to charity, so it helps me out a lot. It helps charity a lot. That's it. Thanks so much.